I am no great fan of the Northern European welfare state. I am no great of French-style regulation or Italian firing and hiring rules or French pension schemes. But the structural problems of Europe is not what caused the crisis, and it's not why Europe still has significant problems. The failure lies in the euro itself. It lays in the idea that one size fits all.
I don't think we can talk about an optimal monetary regime. If there was such an obvious optimal monetary regime, all countries in the world would probably have that. And if you go across countries, we have very different monetary regimes across the world. Some have joined the euro, some might leave the euro, some have pegged their exchange rate to the euro as Denmark, some have floated their exchange rate as Sweden. And countries are different, so it's very clear that it seems like there is not really an optimal monetary regime. But we can talk about conditions for what we think a monetary regime should do. I think that one thing that is really risky is when central bankers becoming firefighters, that they have to fly in and solve a problem instead of providing the framework. And it sounds very easy to say, of course, but anybody who worked in a central bank knows that we'll constantly get calls from banks and ministers of finance who have a problem that needs to be solved. And when things are then falling apart, the central banks normally say, well, we will get back at those damn politicians or those damn bankers and teach them a lesson. And that's not really the way we want to have monetary policy. To tell politicians, stay away. Be strictly non-interventionist. Let banks fail. I strongly believe in that there is too close relationship between banking, business, and government. You have a problem.
Imagine when we get out afterwards and there are drinks. Is there any price on the drinks? No. How many drinks will you drink? I know that. We'll see around 10 o'clock tonight. There is no mechanism controlling how much consumption of that you have. Well, in the case of drinks and having a party tonight, it's a positive externality. We all get a little bit drunk and the party gets better. But there can be an externality that is that if I drink a drink, there is less for you, the rest of you. And in the case of fish, if we all go out and just take out the fish, we all know that it's in our individual interest to harvest as much fish as possible if there's no restriction on how much fish I catch. And my suggestion is that we do that, think about every environmental issue we have in this country. We should think in terms of property rights rather than emotions and all of that. Look at where we have the result. We have the result from the quota system.